Good morning. Today, I feel like a deep sense of reverence. It's hard to explain. In what it takes to help people and ourselves, especially if uh, if we're going to or meant to or are leading others. It takes a tremendous amount of experience, more than most people could ever get in a lifetime, because they're busy working, or they're busy playing, or they're busy going to and from places and kind of lost in between. And I'm kind of seeing that to be some of the purpose behind what I've had to do over the last 10 years, where it's all kind of one thing: learning, going to and from, carrying everything, carrying nothing. Everything I buy is free, but none of it's free. Uh, Sitting by myself, with myself, and all others, to really get into the feelings one way or another of being lost in the moment of somebody else's presentation, or to have strong feelings about the way something played out one way or another. And that every playlist is a thought form, is a walk of meeting with a whole bunch of dignitaries and people from all over the world. And it can all be taken out of context by a third party watching it. But in the long run, I mean, it's teaching, but everyone has to teach themselves. It's learning. Well, yeah, I'm learning something, mainly how to see myself and others and to maintain a balance. Because in life, it's really easy to become complacent, uh, just as easy as it is to get scared. The passion of Christ, of the Christ. Funny. But when it comes down to it, you know, everyone just needs the basics of life. A couple things: a roof, a spouse, maybe a kid or a project, something to keep them busy, and a way to get the resources that one needs, either to keep that project going, to keep the spouse or the kids happy, and to maintain the shelter. For some reason, I'm pictured, as I'm talking about that, I just suddenly picture what could be called the third world: basic primitive life, like so many, probably more than half the world still lives in, like Aborigines or Indians, on the plains, or the vision that came to me was Asians. Um, just got their little shack, and then washing clothes in the river as it goes by, and catching a couple fish, making it for dinner, and just going in a loop like that for the rest of their life. And that's the high and the low, the pinnacle of life. It's just that basic little wake up in the morning, get your thing, whatever the thing is, the coffee, the cigarette, the breakfast, the shower, and get the clothes. Then go out and work on the fence. Because why do you need a fence? Well, because yesterday found that wild animals that are dangerous come into the yard. So now I'm going to spend the next month building a fence. Yeah, I got something to do. And in the meantime, okay, well, go fish, catch some fish for lunch, first thing in the morning. Or maybe the fishing's better in the afternoon. So I'll just get up, get ready, and then go into the forest, start cutting down sticks or whatever I need to make this fence. Then go get lunch, bring it back, clean it up, eat it, work on the fence till the day's done. Then do the same thing tomorrow, and the same thing the next day, and the same thing the next day. Well, coming up with an idea of what do I do when I get done with this fence? Should I make an outdoor fire pit? Or should I see if one of the neighbors needs a fence built as somebody walks by on their travels, like, hey, that's pretty good. Where'd you learn how to make fence like that? I don't know. I just invented it. Nobody's here to, nobody taught me anything. Well, we could use a fence. That's funny. Can't they make their own fence? I did it from. Yeah? You got something to trade? Or some money? I need some crops in my yard. Do you have some seeds? Yeah? Okay. And then reciprocity continues. But then, even so, every day it's the same thing. The basics of life. But then that's also why they had to make it so that everything's interwoven, where everybody has to go to places and come back and sell their products around the world in order to weave it all together. And ultimately, it's almost impossible to help people. I mean, any further than, what do you need? $5 to get something to eat, get some cigarettes, or get that cord you needed to plug in your electronic. Okay, you got that. Now you're good, right? Till you run out of food, cigarettes, or so it's this constant coming and going. But ultimately, as a leader, how does one hold that down and lead without ever leaving, and know what people need and be able to give it to them from afar, but then at the same time get paid for that to sustain one's life? See all the spiritual wealth that one could gain in the entire world teaches something at the same time as it kind of levels the playing field, I think. I mean, I doubt that most people, when they get really high, end up always running into their own self in another dimension, somehow through the internet right here. And be like, oh, look, here's God, here's one of the huge pieces. Yeah, here's to inspire everybody. And anybody could have found that stuff too. But that's all I ever come up with. It's like, I don't know. Is this your kid? I found God. This one's named Avila Teshkvara. Oh, look. Here's some stuff you didn't know about Jesus. Or, oh, I bet you didn't look at it from the Aztec perspective. And that's great and well and all. But it's really interesting, that when it comes back to it, it's just about uh, being able to focus and be better at ourselves. And I always wake up in the morning for the longest time, no matter whether I have a job or not, feeling like I'm in the wrong place. Like I'm held in purgatory temporarily, hopefully temporarily. And I want to know how to move forward or back. Wake up and go to sleep the same way every night. Feeling like it's going to be impossible for me to ever find happiness when that shouldn't be even close to the truth. I have many admirers, and there's a lot of people who know who I am, but that doesn't bring me any comfort. But most people think the concept of, hey, look, I got 100,000 followers, or I'm getting all these good comments, everybody really likes my video, or this or that, the way it is for other people. I guess, this has been to show me as well, and to reveal it too, how shallow that is, because it just comes back to that same analogy of waking up in the morning and just living that basic ass simple third world life. I wonder what I'm meant to do, how I'm going to get the money. If I had the money, first thing I'd do is I'd run to her. But who is she? Because even in the Bible, right? And in Hinduism, the story of Rama, or the story of Shiva, it always comes back to the man would always be unhappy. Like Adam, even with God there, big deal. Like, yeah, it's a big deal, but not like, and being one and the same, being like, oh, look, I got my Adam here, good deal. But man will always be lonely without a wife, without a woman. Then it's really, 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 really important to fix that part where she runs off to the tree. Unless he's the tree. unless I'm the tree. The good and the bad thing, the thing she's trying to run from and the thing she's trying to run at, and at peace there, but wanting to do better and myself as well. And just knowing and accepting and realizing that, yeah, there's this creepy thing called God that's watching us all the time. There's nothing we can do about it. Wouldn't you rather spend it with me than hanging out with that snake? I mean, is the apple really that good? And most people only record what sounds good and looks good, or vice versa. What's gonna like trigger people? But usually, pretty much never just wear it. In the moment, and then have to go back and review it and go, yeah. And keep it. I mean, even if it's just in the tail, so that we can go back and look at ourselves. Yeah, and it's even scarier letting everybody see it. It takes some kind of it takes some kind of leadership quality, some kind of stupidity, some kind of balls that I don't know what confidence really could do about that. Only innocence, really, I guess. Which happens easily when one's been isolated for so long. And the topic of so many things at the same time is left in the outskirts. That's the outskirts. Most felt that me and my destined wife would work together, not at two separate places. On a project or some kind of foundation. Since we're all in the third world anyway, and we get up and we're building the world as we build the world, and the project we're working on is just like our kids, but it came before we got here together, and even day to day with the kids, it's still going to continue because they do and they don't belong to us either. They're just in our care to raise them. And to have an inseparable bond. Where we always care what the other one thinks. And we're not afraid to share anything. And always be growing and expanding and looking forward to things to do together. That's the number one thing, I suppose, that it takes the longest for anyone to get there, because in any relationship, it's easy to run to or from it, and there's all this other stuff that's tied into it from the beginning to the end that it never, hardly ever solidifies. And if it does, then it solidifies separately from the world, where, for instance, every weekend you're working on the house together. Yeah, but what does that do for anybody else? Nothing. Other than send out all the money that you gain together. When you're at work, what does that do for anybody? You're just in positions. And it does things for the world, but it's not quite the same as what I envision, which I suppose is something more like the idea behind the president and first lady concept, working in union for a much greater community, not just the town or the school or, the neighborhood. And I suppose that's why, also from my perspective, looking at all the things that I've witnessed in my life and vicariously, because the subconscious doesn't necessarily see things as separate. And so experiences are experiences to some degree. I mean, obviously watching somebody run 100 miles while you sit in an armchair next to actually running 100 miles is a little bit different, for sure. But then it also gives an appreciation. But I'm talking more about witnessing the way life is in so many different walks of life, where people have grown up from and behind their culture and how their parents raised them and the gang or the business or whatever they've gotten into, and what brought each person to the place they are at any given moment. In order to be completely full and empty and available for others, in compassion, in understanding, and also be able to handle all the different sides of people. Because emotions in the mind change so quickly sometimes. And most people hide most of their self. Even from themselves. And it just gets boxed off in a back room that they never get to see or witness or experience because it wasn't allowed. So then put the blinder on, then redirected, and we'll never know. Which makes for, in a sense, an easy life until things change. Which is why a lot of human existence is busy talking about how something changed, like the weather, or I don't know how to put it. It's about gossiping about other people, kind of. Did you see what they did? Oh my, that shouldn't be allowed. Oh my God, we didn't have this much trouble when we lived there, and now we live here, and now this is how things are. And after a while, then you get comfortable, and then okay, now it's no big deal. He was trying to run toward comfort and run towards excitement, but then cordoned off on both directions. Hmm. I believe there's some kind of purpose behind it, though there's no way I could tell how I can move forward or what could happen next because of the situation at hand of having my car taken, no income, and no friends necessarily or girl, woman that I'd be in a relationship with, and the world setting up expectations so that every girl would expect me to make all the moves to get to them and have to provide, but kept it so that, well, I can't provide. So then, and how you would have to get here? How would you get here unless you messaged, called, or showed up at my door? That makes it look a little different, doesn't it? When the world's set up to appear a certain way so that then a guy has to have the money and has to provide. And as soon as he doesn't have those things, then he's not worth anything. And that's not true at all.